Hi, I'm Colin from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Auto Trail Apache 634, which is a 2017 model. So as we start, we'll walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first. The first point you get to is your wastewater outlet. So on the side you can turn this and allow the water out. This is any water that you've put down a plug hole or any liquid goes into a separate holding tank, and then normally on the way out of a site you'd go over the motorhome service bay and let this out. But also in the winter you want to make sure nothing's left in here, as you wouldn't want it to freeze in the underslung tank, as it'll crack and split the tank and pipes underneath the vehicle. Here you have your cassette locker. So all the lockers open with a small key for the outside lockers, which is this key here. Then you would make sure the blade's closed, lift and slide the cassette out. Got some wheels there so you can drag it around your site to your waste disposal point, which is normally beside your toilet and shower and block or behind it. And then what you need to do is take the grey cover off, press the button, tip to 90 degrees and just allow that out. That's just water we've tested the vehicle with. Allow it all out, and then there's normally a hose there, so put some water in, give it a rinse, and then if you're filling it back with liquid, the green or the blue liquid, a cap full into here, it's good to go back in the vehicle. If you're using the tablet form, which is new space saving tablets which are more economically friendly, a pint of water into here and drop a blue or a green tablet in the sachet into there. That'll break down into the liquid, and then if you just push it back into the vehicle like so. External shower point. So in the vehicle you'll have a bullfinch connection. With one end you'll have a trigger gun on the end of the hose. As long as the pump's on inside, which I'll show you how to do that on the main control panel, you either have it on hot, or if you've had the hot water system on, you can have it on hot or cold, depending how warm you want the water. If you're showering the dog, the boots, the kids or the bikes off from outside. You've got your fresh water filler here. So again, open, it's a lockable cap, so there's a key there. So simply remove the cap. You put the hose pipe in there, so you'll need a hose pipe and some hose pipe connectors, as it's a brass tap on most sites. Put the hose in there until it overflows, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board. Mains connectivity point. So this is where you hook the vehicle up with mains power. So lift the collar, slide it on there, and then when unhooking, if you just press the blue lever down and then unhook the vehicle. Always hook the vehicle first, then the side, as we wouldn't want you walking around with a live lead in your hand. And then you've filled your fresh water. You want to get rid of it, or you've taken on contaminated water, exactly like the waste. In the winter you'll want to drain this off completely. This is just fresh water that you filled up with via a hose pipe via the freshwater outlet. And this is just, or should I say the inlet, this is the outlet. Your carpet, and you've got some storage in the back there, and some tethering rings to tie things down to. And at the back of the vehicle you've got your high level brake light, reverse, in camera, and then behind here, so again opens with one of the round headed keys. Take the nut off. There's a big acrylic panel lifts off, and there's a full size spare wheel behind there. We've got some more storage this side, and then on the back there is steadies on the back of this. So this is your steady handle, so you don't really need to use them as much. They're more for a caravan, but if the vehicle was slightly unsteady you can just wind these down. So put it onto the end here and wind the leg down, and that'll just give the vehicle a bit more stability. But always make sure they're wound up securely, and don't forget to get them up before you start driving away, otherwise you will just rip the leg off. but most sites now are level anyway. It's more for if you're doing a bit of wild camping, they come in handy. External gas point, so if you wanted to run a Kadak or a awning heater, you'll have a bullfinch connection in there. You'll need to get yourself some Jubilee clips and some orange gas hose, which is the rubber hose, to connect to your barbecue or your Kadak or external awning heater, and that'll just run off the main bottle on board, so it'll run off the motorhome gas supply instead of carrying a spare bottle. This is your water heater cover, so your water heater's behind here. When heating the water on gas, this cover must come off, as there's an exhaust behind here to allow the fumes out. So hand on the top, thumb in the middle and peel off. If this was to be left on when on gas, it will go the red light will display on the control, just to tell you that you've either run out of gas or your cover's been left on. Then what I would do is, if you've left it on, just come in and blow in there and it'll eliminate any gas, and then it'll be able to light itself again. But when travelling and when on electric, you can leave the cover on. It's only on gas it's got to come off. I've got a security rail here, and that'll go over the door and you can lock that in place, and it's an added security feature. It's also an aid to help you in and out the vehicle. And then at the front you've got your gas locker. So you've got two notches on the bottom, two little lines. You point them to the floor to lock, and then turn the barrel to the top, push in. When the lock pops in to the frame, it's locked. It's the same with all the locks. Turn the little notch to the top of the vehicle. It'll open your LPG locker door, and in here you can fit two 6 kilogram bottles. It's a left hand thread with a pigtail, and then you want to nip it up with a gas spanner, tie the bottle in, and always turn it off from the top of the bottle when you're traveling and back on when you're on site. And then if you just press this green button, which is just your crash valve, for 3 seconds, it allows the gas into the vehicle. You can fit two in and always turn them off when you're on the road, just for safety really. Diesel filler, which opens with the main ignition key there, so you've got a lockable diesel filler. Tyre pressures are on the passenger door, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi. Toolkit's underneath the passenger seat, so it's got a jackknip brace and a towing eye in there, and then your engine battery lives underneath this cover here. And bonnet releases on the side of the dashboard. We'll have a quick look underneath the bonnet. Obviously to your left, so underneath your driver's side, you've got all your fluids. So you've got screen wash, this cover lifts off, and you've got power steering and temp and your coolant, brake fluid, engine oil and engine oil dipstick for checking your levels, your paint code, which is 691 if you want any touch-up pens or touch-up paint. You've got an earth there for a jump start and a positive just here. And then you've got your weight plate, so it's 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight. If you were to tow anything, the train weight with this vehicle can't exceed 4,750 kilograms. So once inside the vehicle, above the habitation door, you've got your main 12 volt control panel, and you've got your hot water on gas and heating on electric. But I'll start off with this first, which is your main control panel. So first of all, if you're hooked up, you will have 240 volt around the vehicle. If you're not, then you will just be using the 12 volt off your leisure battery. So you've got your on off button here, obviously turning on 12 volt if you're not hooked up, or 240 if you are. This is your power transfer button, and it'll switch the motorhome side to using the engine battery instead of the leisure battery if it goes dead. But I wouldn't advise using that, as if you weren't hooked up, it can tend to flatten the vehicle. Then you've got your pump, so you must use your pump. Your pump, if you've got the taps, toilet or shower on, it surfaces the water around the vehicle and builds the pressure up. Next week you've got your awning light, so this is the light outside the vehicle. And then if you go up and down, as you can see there, it's saying 25% fresh water is full, 0 waste. You've got your currently coming off your battery. Your solar charge is 0, as when the hookup is on, it takes priority as it's the bigger voltage going into the battery. You've got your external temperature, you've got your tank heaters off. If you want to turn your tank heaters on, if it's going to freeze overnight, you just press the middle button here, and as you can see, they've gone on and then they've gone off again. And then you can set the clock and the timer should you wish. And then that's your main control panel there. So it's dead quite simple. And then across, so this is where on this switch is heating the water on gas, should I say, and the cover must come off on the outside of the motorhome, otherwise you'll get a red light on here and it'll not work because the fumes are getting pushed back into the vehicle. So you can off in the middle, heating the water at 50 degrees or heating the water at 70 degrees. But the cover must come off. A red light will indicate that the cover's been left on or the gas is not turned on or run out. And then this side you've got your ultra heat, so this is heating the vehicle on mains electric. So you've got off on the little O, 2000 is 2 kilowatts of heat, and 9 on the thermostat is equivalent to 30 degrees, so you can change that to the temperature you want. You've got 500 watt, which is half a kilowatt, and you've got 1000 watt, which is 1 kilowatt. Just depending, if you're using too much electric, you may have to turn it down, or if you're on a smaller CL site, you may have to use a smaller voltage. But mainly you can use 2000 kilowatt on most sites, depending on the current you get off your hookup lead. So now in the kitchen, you've got 3 gas rings, which light like so. Got your 3 lit gas rings there, and then you've got 1 electric hot plate, which is this one here. The red little light comes on, and that'll only work when on 240 mains hookup. Below you've got your grill. You've got your grill, which is lit there. So you may want to remove your grill pan when travelling, and same with the oven shelves, but make sure your oven shelves, the lugs go at the back of the oven. That's designed to not block the burner of the oven. And there you've got your burner there. Under the oven, if you just pop this panel open, you've got your gas taps, which are for when the vehicle is serviced by a habitation technician. They'll test that the gas is working properly. And on this side, you've got your isolation plug for your oven for your electric hot plate. Top right, your microwave. Obviously make sure you're on electric hookup, and then you can press eco, and it'll wake up, and it's an 800 watt household microwave. Your sink cover lives in here, which goes either way on the sink. That's where it stores away. And then in here, you've got your plug for your microwave, plate rack and cup rack. This is just showing you that your pump's working. So to operate your Thetford Slimline fridge freezer, so you turn on and off here, then if you press the grey square button here, it'll tell you what source you're on. So to change the energy source of the fridge, you'd press and hold and wait for it to start flashing, and then you can go between electric hookup when you're on mains, battery when you're travelling. Obviously you would pre-chill the fridge before that on gas or electric, then put it on the battery, and it'll just keep the shopping fresh and act as a cool box. Or you can scroll right the way along to gas if you're wild camping, and then you'd press OK. You get your temperature. You can set your temperature by going up and down with the arrows. Press the square button again, OK, and there you go. It's set on gas at the moment and it'll self-ignite. And if I was to turn it back to electric hookup, obviously the battery won't work because the engine's not running yet. It's a feed off the alternator from the engine battery to keep the shopping nice and fresh. And then you can turn on and off here. And then when you are finished with it for the season, make sure it's cleaned out. Then you want to leave the fridge door open, so you can just pull this little blue tab out. So just pull it halfway, and it'll just stop the door from locking on itself. To heat the vehicle using gas, so your electric side's above the door for heating the vehicle. So to heat it on gas, this is your gas fire. So this side, if you're wild camping or it was really cold and you wanted electric and gas on together to just boost the vehicle, you just turn and then it'll ignite like so, and you can view through the pilot hole if it's lit or not. On this side you've got your fan speed, so you can use the fan with the electric side of the heater and also the gas. So this is a 12-volt assisted fan. Obviously if you're wild camping you'll want to preserve as much power as possible, so you probably would not want to use this and just let it convect out the front of the heater. But what you can do is, O stands for off, which is just in the middle. You go up for automatic, and then it'll automatically cut out when the vehicle hits a certain temperature with the thermostat that's in the vehicle. And then A is manual, and what it'll do is you'll have to manually intervene, turn the heating down or turn it off. And then you've got 1 to 5, which is just your fan speed. And then as you can see the blue flame, and this is the heater lit. And then this is just showing you that your water pump's working, and you can see there that your hot water is on as well. So underneath the seat, if you lift the cushions off and the board behind the kitchen area, this is a 10 litre Truma boiler. And in the winter it's very important that you drain it down because it isn't covered by frost damage, as it's your responsibility to drain it down. So no warranties will cover this. This is your responsibility. So to drain it down, this little yellow toggle, stand it up like so, stand it up during the time that it's in storage, open all the taps within the vehicle, remove your shower head, and then open the fresh and wastewater outside, and obviously leave your shower head hose to dangle in your shower tray, just so any water in there would just drain off via the plug hole. If you didn't, this would be very costly to repair, and all the tanks and pipes on the motorhome are plastic, so they would split and potentially flood the vehicle, which would mean that you've got severe damage to your vehicle. So do make sure that it's drained down, so leaving that stood up during the time you've got it in storage and opening all the taps outside and inside the vehicle. But to heat your water on electric, so located just behind this locker door, just here is your switch for heating your water on electric. So 230 volts, so you've got 40 degrees, which is 1 kilowatt off, and then 2 kilowatts, which is equivalent to 60 degrees of heating your water. You can have the electric and gas on together, which obviously doubles the source and reduces the heating time of the water if you're in desperate need, the same as the heating. But should you have no water in the vehicle, obviously make sure this is turned off, because it's just like a kettle, it will fry the element. And then on the other side, opposite the boiler, beside your heater, underneath the bench seat, is your main location for your leisure battery. So it lives under here. You've got one banger battery in there, and you've got your main 20 amp leisure battery fuse. Then to make the bed up, so it makes like a bit larger than a double bed. So first of all, you turn your turnbuckle here, release the lats, slide them forward. You'll stop at these two lugs here. What you've got to then do is just lift the board over and wedge it in on the other side. This then stops the bed from moving, and then you'd use your backrests into there like so on the backs, then turn the other ones onto the backs as well, as this gives you a flatter surface to sleep on. Above your TV you've got your fixed max view aerial, and to boost the signal you just use this black wheel here. So if it's too strong you may want to weaken it a bit, or you may want to boost it if you're struggling to pick up reception. And you've also got a USB in there for charging. So now in the washroom area, make sure the pump's on, and you use your toilet, you'd press the blue button at the back, which will flush the toilet. Obviously there's the fan kicked in, so to stop that just press the flashing light until it goes solid. It's flushed the toilet there. So once you've flushed it, always open the blade, use it with the blade open, then flush it again and then close the blade, as if not what can happen is the water can seep around the cassette and flood underneath the cassette, which means it's quite a messy job to mop it out. And that's a standard thing on all motorhomes and caravans. You've got to open the blade to use the toilet. It's not like a household toilet. And then on the back, when you get a couple of green lights, it means that the cassette is full and requires to be emptied. You've got your bathroom light here and toiletry cabinet there, and underneath the sink there's your external shower hose. Your skylight, you just push in, pull the bar down, or you can put it in the groove should it be a nice day. And you do have fly screen and blackout light there. Magnetic shower doors with a hanging rail for wet towels or wet coats. If you've been caught in the rain, this is a great place to hang your coats up. Shut the door, put the heating on, it'll get lovely and warm and they'll dry in no time. And then, like I was saying, if you remove your shower head from your hose, as you can see it's got quite a loop in there, and lie in the shower tray, any build-up of water will drain out. Behind the driver's seat is where you'll find your table, which is just like putting an ironing board up with the legs. You can put that at the back of the vehicle or take it outside if it's a nice day. And above you've got your power supply unit. So this imitates the control panel, and you've got your system shutdown button for when you're storing it in the winter months. This will stop any power drain. You've got all your 12-volt fuses, which are all listed up here, so do carry some spares. And then you've got your RCD and MCBs, and then these are all working on mains power. Obviously your space heater and your water heater does work on gas as well, but this is the electric side of it. Build number, so should you ever need parts, if you quote anyone that number, they'll get the right parts for the vehicle. And you've got a solar panel at the back, so you can see that's flashing, which means it's fully charged. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver, you do have your handbrake. And then on the door you've got your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments, so you've got 2 adjustments on each mirror, top and blind spot. And if you pinch, you've got your MS car blinds here, slide the front down first. And then you've got the same on the windscreen, so you can pinch that to slide along, and do exactly the same on the passenger side. And then they'll clip together like so. Coming down to the driver's right, you've got your headlight adjustment and fog light, which is your rear one. Trip computer on the end of your wiper stalk, which goes through the middle screen there, so it'll tell you your average and instance consumption, your range, your travelling times, your distance travelled, and so on. And then on here you've got your indicators and lights, cruise control at the top, which indicates by the little green button down here, and then speed limiter. So with the cruise control you can just get the speed, push it up, cancel here, cancel with the brake, and resume there as well. And with the speed limiter, pushing up in 1s, slowly goes up in 1s, pushing up and holding goes up in 5s. Steering wheel control, so you've got mute, volume, voice command, hands-free, and this will scroll through your radio channels or your contacts or your audio. This has got the Comfortmatic gearbox, so neutral straight up, as it says neutral N, going down, so pulling down and just letting it go into here, goes into auto 1, push it again, goes into 1, so just make sure it is an auto 1 and it'll be an automatic, otherwise you can go up and down the gears for a manual, and then straight down for reverse. When parking, what you can do is you can park in gear and apply the handbrake and you'll not have the beeping, but if you park it in neutral and then put the handbrake on, which some people do, you'll get a couple of beeps when you take the key out the ignition. That's just telling you that it's in neutral, but you can park it in either reverse or manual. But always use the handbrake, as there's no park on this gearbox, so that it will roll if you didn't put the handbrake on in neutral. Coming to the head unit, so the head unit is very simple. It's on off here, and you've got your volume. Media would be obviously connections from here, so you've got a USB and an audio just by the cup holders. And you've got nav, which is TomTom navigation, so you just go navigate to and then put your address in. So address, just put where you want to go. Just be careful with this sat nav because it's not designed for a motorhome, it is just a van sat nav, so do just take that into consideration and take care with it. And then you've got your phone, so you go to settings and you go to add phone, and you want to find Uconnect on your device. Make sure the pins match, press pair on the head unit, pair on the phone, and then it'll ask you if you want to download your contact list. Press yes, and then whoever rings you, it'll come up with a name if they're saved instead of just a number. Your radio is FM, AM and DAB, so you can just press 1 to 3 to save there. You can go to all and save 12 of your favourite radio channels, and obviously if you wanted to use media, you can connect your phone and also use Bluetooth audio. Coming down here, you've got traction control, hill descent control, with it being an automatic. Hazards, this locks the doors and the habitation door on an evening, and you've got your heated mirrors. USB for charging purposes only, and a 12 volt. And then you've got your heating, so you've got your temperature on the outside ring, fan speed on the in, must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work, which is this one here. And then you've got your distribution, so where you want the air to go to and whether you're bringing fresh air in or recirculating air. Your engine battery lives underneath the floor. You've got your toolkit here for a changing a wheel, torn eye and screwdrivers also in there. And then to turn the seats, if you need to, you just pull these little arms. If it got stuck on the door like it has there, just slide it forward, and then you can slide this into the back of the vehicle.